So, did you think that this project was something you could kind of push aside? Something that maybe was not that interesting and you didn't really want to put your all into it? Because that's exactly how I felt when I first read about it. I wasn't so excited about this project because it encouraged me to go learn something new about someone else, and get outside of my comfort zone. But I decided that it was a really interesting thing that I got to do. I was privileged to be able to get to know about my friend Connie and get to interview her and learn more about her culture. Connie is from Honduras, and she came to America to have a higher education and to go to college. And in this speech, I learned a lot about another culture and how it gives more insight on what we are privileged to have here in the United States, or even what we lack. We'll be learning about the Honduran culture, the location of Honduras, and we'll get to compare the school systems and to see what that is like to have school in Honduras and to come here in America, and why that's so important to come here. You, in turn, will be able to gain more appreciation and motivation for the schooling that we are offered here in the United States, and how important that is to other people. So my Honduran friend Connie has experienced both her native culture and American culture, and has learned a lot from both of those. I interviewed her, and she gave me great insight on what it's like to live in a different country and to come to school here in the States. So first, I would like to give a little background on Connie and her life in Honduras. So Honduras is just like her. It's all full of spice and flavor, and that's shown specifically through their dance and their food. She got to tell me about the dance, the punta. Punta means tippy toes, and so it's a dance that you dance on top of your toes, and you move your hips a lot in your lower back, and you keep this all stationary in your chest and your upper body. And I would give you an example and show you how to do that, but that would not be a pretty sight, so I'll spare you. Oliver N. Green Jr. said that from his journal, Black Music Research Journal, it is the most celebrated of the indigenous dance song genres, and it permeates performances of both secular and semi-sacred rituals. So it shows how important this dance is to their culture, that it is part of the secular world and the sacred world. Another thing that is important to their culture is their food. They have a lot of seafood. That is their biggest dish, is seafood. She specifically talked about sopa mariana, which is a soup made full of coconut milk and seafood. All kinds of seafood. Conch, lobster, crab, clams, etc., etc. She specifically said that if you were to come and try it, you might get a little sick the first time you try it, because it's something that you have to kind of get used to. But she says it's her favorite dish, and it's very delicious. Another staple food that they have there is the baleada, which is a flour tortilla with cheese and refried beans. Hondurans like to put a lot of avocados, a lot of meat, seafood, anything, and you can just kind of build on top of that staple dish. So seafood kind of points to their location on the globe, on the planet, and I will take a minute to show you kind of where Honduras is. So this is North America, and you can see that we're up here, Mexico's right here, and this is where Central America is. So let me give you a further picture of where Honduras is specifically. So this is Honduras, Mexico's up here, so this is the Central America area. Honduras is right here. And Connie lived in La Ceiba, right here. And that is obviously right on the coast. She had 2 houses, one for the beach and one for city life. Beach life is very fun. That's where her and all her friends would go, and it has cleaner water, and so that's the place where you would go for vacations or just to go to the beach. Their location on the coast encourages a lot of tourism. So it is very important that English is so encouraged. This is where we kind of talked about how English is a universal language. And in Honduras, you are more likely to land a job if you know English, and that's why it's so important that they have English classes in school. Their school system is kind of similar to America, except for their deep encouragement for a student to be bilingual. They have 3 different types of schools: the public school, the public private school, and the private bilingual school. She went to the public bilingual school, which at this school you are to have English classes your whole life. You basically are at an American school, and the only classes that were in Spanish were those that were from the government. So like the social studies classes, the Honduran classes, the anything like that. And so it was very important that people would learn English. Connie specifically said, if you don't know English, you won't get a job as easily. Even in the public schools now, they have to take 13 English classes. You have to know English or they won't hire you. So it's so important for a job, for a career, that you know English because it is such a universal language. To have higher education in America carries more weight than if you were to get a degree in Honduras. So to be able to live in the United States and to be able to learn and more deeply be in the English language, it is very important and puts more weight on the degree than if you were to get it in Honduras. Connie, she gave pros and cons of both schools. Honduras is the schools that you were to go there, and the education would take longer, but you would basically be taking the same classes. It seems that they would go more in depth in the classes. She had a friend that is taking music right now, and he's taking all the same classes, but he will be out in 8 years, and she's graduating this year after 4 years. So if she were to go back to Honduras, it would be better for her to have the degree and have lived here in America, and it will have more weight, so she will be more likely to get a job there. School is obviously very important, as it should be for all cultures. So, in conclusion, life is very different in other cultures than the life I have grown up with. Although people are all very different and grow up in different ways, there seems to be a few things that seem universally important. School is one of those things. Whether you have that opportunity at home or not, some people will take the extra step to make sure they get the education they need. And that was obviously what Connie did. Maybe we take advantage and not quite appreciate what we are offered here in the States. We have the option of free school, and yet some of us don't give the effort or time to something that some people in this world don't even have that option. I personally am more thankful for the opportunity to be nurtured and taught to follow my dreams in school, and I hope the same is for you. Thank you.